when we talked, I pulled this out, and this I keep on a shelf with my Dubois collection. I wanted to see what actually was the 7th Ward, and then to see which of the churches actually fit within that 7th Ward. And I could only identify 4. And what he does is, in his book, he takes an overview of all of the African American congregations in the city. Now, he mentions a few I was not familiar with. And I'm sure when I first read this years ago, I was not familiar with them, and they probably came into existence and went out of existence. But the 4 that he mentions that are on Lombard Street, and you have to visit, Wesley AME Zion Church, better known as Big Wesley. I talked to some gentlemen at Mother Bethel recently. They thought I said Brick Wesley, but I said Big Wesley, because there were other Wesley churches at the time. You might call this church Little Wesley, but it was First Colored Wesley. I think they're at 17th, either 17th and Fitzwater. They're split from Mother Bethel in the 1800s. And then this church was originally called John Wesley before it went through its name changes. And there's another Wesley church, I can't remember. Okay, the other church that was on Lombard Street was Shiloh, between 10th and 11th. And then Central Presbyterian, which is now Lombard Central, and the Black Catholic Church, St. Peter Cleaver, around 12th and Lombard. And I found that to be interesting. Union Baptist at the time was on 12th Street south of Bainbridge. So it was sort of like on the borderline. And when Dubois was doing his study, they had just built their new church. And one other, okay. Tinley was not in the city at the time. I found an old Methodist Journal, and I went back to try to tell you where Dr. Tinley was pastoring when Dubois was doing his study. And because that study, it wasn't just a year, it took some time. So he was between pastoring at the Ezion Methodist Episcopal Church in Wilmington, Delaware, and serving as the district superintendent in the Wilmington district. So that's where he was during that time period. He didn't come here until 1902. So I thought, I needed to be accurate. Okay? So that's, what I want to share, but I think it would be helpful to take that walking tour. The old Central Presbyterian Church, it just went on the market a few years ago, and I think they went like $800,000 for it. It was converted into like a condo. But to start at Mother Bethel and to walk up the street and see the different churches and veer here for this one, veer there for that one. I think, you'd probably find that interesting, especially to see the church that Shiloh built. And Dubois writes something, and I used to worship at Shiloh at times. They had a public school. And this is in like the 1840s. We weren't admitted into the school system such as it was. So that church was an early church to say, okay, we'll educate our own. So.